All right, guys, so today's topic is on emotional control, which is a very interesting and complex topic because most people out there don't really have any emotional control at all. And the title of this video being that fighting games expose your lack of emotional control is very much true, because if you can't handle the emotional triggers of a fighting game, then you are very likely a person that has zero emotional control in real life. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say that you're playing a fighting game, right? And then you get to a point where you start losing more than you're winning, right? The very first tier of quitter types will just quit immediately because they don't want to, they don't want to feel that burn of losing a game. Then you're gonna have people who are going to try to improve a little bit, but if they keep losing after that, then they're gonna quit again. If you do that in a video game, that is fine. It's a video game. There's nothing at stake. You're entertaining yourself. But if you're doing it and you actually like to play that video game and you find it to be the entertainment that you want to keep playing, you don't want to play any other games, you want to play fighting games and you want to play a specific title, and still you are not willing to take the losses and learn from them, that says a lot about your emotional maturity and your emotional intelligence. Because in my opinion, fighting games are an amazing way for you to learn how to control your emotions. Because there's one problem that a lot of people have when they are playing video games, and it's the fact that even if they love a video game, they will quit that video game if they feel that they are not able to win consistently. So this is especially true in fighting games. And that's one of the first steps to finding out that you have very little emotional intelligence and control, right? Which is not something to be ashamed about. I felt that I wasn't emotionally, I felt that I was very bad at emotional control until I turned like 35 years old. So it takes a while. It definitely takes a while. It's not something that happens overnight. But I was having trouble accepting losses because I felt my ego came before anything else, right? It's like my ego was talking to me and saying, hey, I can't lose against this person. They're winning because they're doing something cheap. They're winning because of this and that. And, the excuses that you put because your ego is bigger than your ability to reason and to tell yourself that you need to improve, you need to practice, you need to do certain things to get better. There's always going to be someone better than you. And that's something you really need to come to grips with. Also, there's always going to be someone who is more intelligent than you. Even if you have the same level of skills and experience as another player, naturally, some people are just going to be better at playing that fighting game, right? And even though you try your hardest, maybe someone is just always going to be better than you. If they put the same amount of hours that you do, that's where talent comes in. So you may not be as talented as someone else. And that is also fine to actually allow yourself to admit that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you this right now. You're probably not the dumbest person in the world, but at the same time, you are probably not the smartest person in the world either. And if you're able to allow yourself to understand that and to come to grips with that, everything becomes so much easier in life. And it took me a long time to get to that point. I used to be that person that would, blame everything on everyone else. If I would lose in something or something wouldn't go my way in anything, not just video games, then I would blame it on someone else. So there was zero accountability on my side. It was always something else or someone else. And that is a very human thing. It's not something to feel ashamed of, as long as you evolve and you see that that is not the way you should be in life. It's not just a video game thing. So if you like to rage quit in fighting games, if you like to one and done, if you like to run away from opponents that you know are not easy to beat, that they could win against you consistently, and you run away from that, then you're never gonna get better. You're just trapped in this little bubble where you're fighting people that are just as good as you or below your skill level, so that you can feel that there's a certain amount of effort, but you can win consistently. It's the same with anything in life. Don't expect to be good at a fighting game when there are people that are clocking hundreds and hundreds of hours, even thousands of hours, playing video games, playing a specific fighting game, training, going against some of the best players in the world all the time. You can't expect to be as good as them if you're just playing casually at home an hour or two a day or every other day, right? So Realizing that you need to grind and you need to work hard and you need to earn your skills and your abilities by losing against a lot of players that are better than you is the first step to being emotionally in control, to having emotional maturity, to having emotional intelligence. To allow yourself to say, yeah, I'm not good at this and it is me who is to blame. I'm gonna give you an example. People hate Claw, right? They hate losing against Claw. They hate losing against that character. And when he wall dives, you really do feel like it's a 50-50 fest, right? Like everything's a 50-50. But if you think about it, modern fighting games are 100% like an eternal wall dive from Vega. Like Street Fighter 6 is all about endless 50-50s, even in the neutral. One day I told myself, this is just a guessing game, 100% a guessing game. And in a way, it is true. But it shouldn't be an excuse for you to say, yeah, I keep losing because it's a 50-50 game. Because if you go into the fighter profile of a guy like Momochi, you'll see that he has like 80-something% wins. So obviously, even though there's a lot of 50-50s, if you're really good and dedicated to a game, you will be so good that you won't let people in and you won't allow them to go into that vortex. Having the actual emotional maturity to tell yourself that there's no such thing as being fair in fighting games. There's no fairness in any kind of competition. It's like, if something is allowed, people are going to exploit it, even if it feels that there's no honor and there's like, it's a cheap tactic. If it's allowed, it doesn't break the rules. People are going to bend the rules as far as they can to win, right? So a smart fighting game player is going to use a top tier character and abuse whatever moves that character has that allow him to win with the least amount of effort, right? That's just how it is. So allow yourself to understand that. Stop making up your own rules. Stop coming up with this honor BS in competition. There's no honor in competition. In competition, people kick you when you're down, if they can. And it happens the same way in fighting games. For people to do something on it, like, I remember myself being so scrubby that I would say, if you knock me down, just let me get up again so we can reset the neutral, be a man. What is this Oki bullshit? You're not letting me do anything, you're making me guess. Well, that is what competitive fighting games are like. Even in a game that is neutral heavy, like ST. A good ST player is going to do whatever they can to keep you from moving, keep you from having any advantage or having any ability to get close to them. That's the idea, that's the goal. And if you start a knockdown, you're also going to go into Oki whenever you can, so that you can start pretty much smothering your opponent and not allowing them to do anything. So get it through your head. There's no honor. Cheap stuff is allowed, exploited, and encouraged. If it works, don't fix it. If it's allowed, use it. And if it's not allowed, bend it as far as you can. And that is what professional level competition is all about. In any form of competition, be it sports, be it esports, anything. Anything goes as long as it's part of the rules. And what is not in the rules, you bend the shit out of it until it's almost broken, so that you can actually exploit everything that you can do and avoid being banned or being disqualified from a competition. So it's important to understand these things and to see that the world of competitive fighting games is 100% about not letting your opponent move once you're able to start the vortex, as they call it, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I believe that this is all part of being emotionally mature, of having emotional intelligence, which is something that you can actually learn to improve. Because the first step to emotional intelligence is accountability. If you hold yourself accountable for whatever goes wrong in your life, you're 100% on the road to becoming a very emotionally intelligent and sound person. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Subscribe, give a like, and I will see you in the next one.